Now we are going to see the next experiment, that is experiment number 7, that is the estimation of the cation. Here you can call the estimation of the copper. Now to estimate this particular copper, we are going to use the iodometric titration. You know the basic types of the titrations. 5 types of the titrations are there. First one will be the acid base titration. It is also called as the neutralization titration. Second type of the titration is the complexometric titration, redox titration, precipitation titration, and the iodometric titration. These are the 5 types of the titrations are there. Generally we are using for the different purpose. For the estimation of the acid or base, we are using the acid base titration. Okay, sometime to if the so many that particular things are means elements are present in that, we are going to perform the precipitation titration. Okay, now we have to talk about the theory of this particular part. You know, in the iodometric method, the name itself indicates that we are going to use iodine, means we are going to use estimate iodine. Okay, how we can estimate the iodine, that we have to see. What we are going to see that the estimation of the copper is carried out in the neutral or slightly acidic medium. Whatever the cupric ions are there, they will react with the Ki. Here the reaction is written, you can see CuCl2 plus 4Ki will gives you the Cu2I2 plus 4KCl plus liberation of the iodine gas. These cupric ions will react with the Ki to give the cuprous iodide and free iodine. In the reaction arrow is written that iodine gas will form. This reaction is reversible, but the large excess of the Ki added helps to proceed the reaction fully in the forward direction. See, Ki is in excess, that's why this reaction is in the forward direction only. But when you react this copper chloride plus Ki, okay, it is a reversible reaction. But when we are taking the excess of the Ki, at that time it becomes the that particular we can say the forward reaction only. The reaction is quantitatively reaction is quantitative, and therefore the amount of the iodine liberated is equivalent to the amount of the copper present in the solution. The liberated iodine can be treated with the standard sodium thiosulfate solution, that is a Na2H2O3 solution. It will give you the formation of the when I2 is reacted with the Na2H2O3, it will gives you the formation of the Na2H2O6 Na2SO4O6 plus twice NaI, sodium iodide will be formed. The solution should be slightly acidic, which helps to suppress the hydrolysis of the cupric salt. Why you are using the acidic condition? There should not be the hydrolysis. The free acid present is neutralized by adding a pinch of sodium carbonate. We are going to add the pinch of the sodium carbonate powder till a slight turbidity due to the formation of the copper hydroxide, which is dissolved by adding dropwise twice normal acetic acid. We will get a turbid solution. We will dissolve that turbidity in the acetic acid solution. What are the requirement for this particular titration? That CuCl2 copper chloride solution will be there. Concentrated HCl, distilled water, 0.05 normal sodium thiosulfate, anhydrous sodium carbonate, 2 normal acetic acid, 10% Ki, freshly prepared starch indicator. Remember that when the iodometric titration is there, at that time we are going to use only the starch indicator, which is a freshly prepared. Then 100 cm cube standard measuring flask, conical flask, beaker, burette, pipette. These are the apparatus required for this particular experiment. In the procedure, we can weigh the 0.4 to 0.6 gram of this salt, copper salt. In the exam, you will provided the solution, or say during practical also, you will get an solution. From that solution, you have to estimate the amount of the copper present. Okay, but in the procedure it is given, you have to weigh the salt, transfer it in the beaker, then you have to dissolve this salt in the minimum amount of water. Then we have to add the 1-2 drops of the concentrated HCl to get the clear solution. Then we will transfer that solution in the standard measuring flask. Okay, with the help of the distilled water, we will up to the mark, we will dilute it and we will shake it. That will be your sample solution. And after shaking, that particular solution is ready. Copper salt solution will be there. Then we will rinse and we will fill the burette with the sodium thiosulfate solution. After that, we will pipette out the 10 cm cube of this particular copper salt solution in the conical flask. We will add sodium carbonate in the particular solution. Then we will shake it. We will got the turbidity in the solution, or say faint precipitate of the copper hydroxide is formed. We will dissolve that precipitate by adding the 2 normal acetic acid solution dropwise with the constant shaking till a clear solution is obtained. Then we will add 1 test tube of the Ki to it. We will shake it. Then we will add whatever the iodine will be liberated. We will titrate it against the sodium thiosulfate from the burette by using the freshly prepared starch indicator. The end point will be from blue to colorless, or sometime white PPT will be there. This will give you the burette reading. Very simple experiment is this. Only that titration is there. Reaction you have to write 2 Cu2 plus 4 Ki will give you the Cu2I2. That is the precipitate. Iodine will be liberated. Then I2 plus sodium thiosulfate will give you the Na2S4 that O6 plus twice Na. Then observation. For the titration, generally we are going to write the observations. Solution in the burette, solution in the conical flask, indicator, endpoint. Solution in the burette will nothing but the sodium thiosulfate solution. Their normality is 0.05 normal. Then solution in the conical flask, 10 cm cube of the diluted solution plus anhydrous sodium bicarbonate, sodium carbonate plus 2 normal acetic acid plus 1 test tube 10% Ki plus indicator. Indicator is a freshly prepared starch indicator. The end point will be blue to colorless. Then we are going to record the burette reading in the observation table. Initial, final and the difference. Reading 1 burette reading. In the table you have to write only Roman 1, 2, 3 is written on that above. You have to write, draw the one line over here. You have to draw a line over here, and above this burette reading in cm cube, and below that 1, 2, 3 readings we have to take. From that maybe reading may be the constant, or say we have to take the mean of this reading, that is a constant burette reading, or say mean burette reading. If the 3 readings are the different, then we will take the mean. If the 2 readings are same, then we will take the CBR, or say constant burette reading. Once we got this reading, that will be the X. Then we will do the calculation. 10 cm cube of the diluted solution will require that particular X cm cube of this particular sodium thiosulfate solution. Therefore, 100 cm cube of this particular diluted solution required 10 into X cm cube of this particular 0.05 normal sodium thiosulfate solution. Hence, 1000 cm cube of the 1 normal sodium thiosulfate will correspond to the 63.54 gram of the copper. Therefore, 10x cm cube of the 0.05 normal sodium thiosulfate will be equal to 63.54 into 0.05 into 10x divided by 1000. We will put the burette reading over there. Here we can put the burette reading and we will do the calculation. You will get the amount of the copper present in this particular given sample. The standard relation is given. 1000 cm of the 1 normal sodium thiosulfate corresponds to the 63.54 gram of the copper. Okay, which will gives you the exact amount of that particular copper present in the solution. Just only we have to do the titration. It is a iodometric titration because here liberation of the iodine is there. Okay, we are going to estimate the copper in terms of the iodine. That's why it is called as the iodometric titration. Finally, we are going to write the result. 10 cm of the diluted solution will require this much amount of this particular 0.05 normal sodium sites Na2H2O3 solution, and amount of the copper ion present, that is a final calculation whatever we have did. Very simple experiment it is again. First of all, we have seen the qualitative analysis. Now we have seen the quantitative analysis. Qualitative is just the identification. Okay. And quantitative identification, quantitative estimation is nothing but how much amount of that particular thing is present in the that given sample. It is called as a quantitative analysis. In the Viva, that question may ask, okay, these two experiments are there. This is experiment number 6 and this is experiment number 7. Write the readings with the help of the this pencil only. When you will perform this experiment in the laboratory, at that time you will correct or say you will fare that reading with the help of the pen. For this time you have to write these readings with the help of the pencil only for the estimation one. For the qualitative analysis, you can directly pair with the pen because same things will be there to you for the identification. Okay. Any doubt, any difficulty, you can ask here.